afternoon. Afternoon. All right. Sounds like a church congregation here, right? So, it's always a pleasure to come to these, and it's also depressing. It's depressing, of course, because we hear all the problems over and over and over again. And we look at these charts that we've worked on for all these years and see that there's still a lot to go. But what's important to the uplifting part of this is to be here with you all, because you all are involved in a lot of really good, important work. And if you weren't involved in this work, the world would be a lot worse off than where it is today. So when we walk out of here, we should walk out having listened to some new ideas, new energy, and to be grateful for each other and the work that we are doing together in this global family, as we heard a little bit earlier. So I've done civil rights work, human rights work, NGO kind of stuff in the United States 50 years, a little shy of 50 years, been involved in some international human rights stuff. And, the big thing is, how do you protect the rights? You can go to court, but how do you ultimately protect the rights of people, right? And this is an issue that we face in the United States, and of course, it's an issue people face in even greater degrees in their own countries. And an important thing, I think, for us to keep in mind when we are out having coffee or tea or beer in Australia is we gotta talk about these issues. As the judge said, Judge Matos said, our idea of the rule of law is under attack. You're sitting in the United States and we have a president right now, just down the street, who attacks the rule of law. We've never seen a president of the United States attack judges in the system in the way that Donald Trump is doing it. We've never seen a president attack the press the way that Donald Trump is doing it. We've never seen a president denigrate human rights the way that Donald Trump is doing it. But that makes it more important for us to stand up and to fight this fight. This is about the heart and soul of the idea of democracy. How are we going to do this? The list of democratic countries, as you know, has fewer and fewer countries every year. Not more, fewer. And so how is it that we go about furthering human rights, protecting human rights? I can give you some ideas in my career. I've litigated, I've gone to law, courts, lawsuits, virtually every one of these charts up here. But how do we institutionalize, as the judge said, democracy? How do we create these institutional framework that we accept democracy? How do we create laws that actually penalize people who break them? Right? We heard a really great idea from Mr. Foster about sports. How to use sports internationally. Brilliant. Title IX in our country, we call it Title IX, was a law that guaranteed women, girls, from elementary school all the way up, equal access to sports. And that opened the door to women in professional life and equality. Because you think about it, the United States, and I'm sure this is totally true of Australia, is that a lot of the movement into higher education is because of scholarships. And that opening that door, athletic scholarships, and opening that door to girls, opened that door for professions. When I started in law school 50 years ago, we had, of 92 people, we had 3 women. When I stopped teaching law school 3 years ago, more than 50% were women. So it's that kind of institutional change. How do we work on that? How do we make that work, right? And that's why we're here today, is to think about how to make this work. There are 70,000, think of this, 70,000 human rights documents that have been generated by 700 NGOs. That's a lot. 70,000 documents on everything you can think of. All good. But when we look at the world, where are we in terms of those basic ideas that are in those 70,000 documents that for us spell out equality, equality, dignity, respect? You know, the United Nations, one of the reasons that we're here is because it's in session, right? Has 3 of the best documents that we have, general documents. You have the Universal Declaration of Rights. You have the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, which we in the United States call Civil Liberties. And then you have the 3rd document, the International Covenant on Economic, Social, and Cultural Rights. So the 2nd document, Civil Liberties, is the restrictions on government, guaranteeing the press, guaranteeing trials and all that. So that's very important, called Civil Liberties. The flip side of that, the positive rights, health care, right to food, the right to the safety net, and all of that. Where are we on that? How do we create mechanisms? And this is something that we each have to figure out in our own lives. I can't give you the answer. Not one of us up here can give you the answer. What do you do in your own lives? We heard Mr. Foster talk about how he did it in his life. How do we do it in ours? What can we do? What kind of conversations can we have with people? If we think that democracy is important, that the rule of law is critical, then that needs to be our bread and butter. That needs to be our bread and butter. And what do we do to help? What can we do in our own lives? We sometimes have the idea, I know we have this idea in the United States, that we are always waiting for the Savior. We think, we look at Martin Luther King, Cesar Chavez, right? And we think, well, these people came from heaven and were our leaders. That's not true. It was the parents, the friends, the teachers that pushed, kicked, shoved, that raised up these leaders. Everything that we do in our lives, every moment of our lives, every contact we have in our lives has an impact. Doesn't it? Doesn't it? That's how we put meaning into those 70,000 documents about human rights. That's how we think creatively about how we use sports. How do we use sports inside the United States? How do we use sports inside of other countries? How do we use sports internationally? This is a moment of creativity. This is a moment to rethink how we do stuff. Because ultimately, as we heard in the context of sports, we are a global family, but we are a global family in the context of human rights as well. How can we be creative? We're watching the people of Hong Kong be creative. Imagine their courage standing up against the Beijing government. How many weeks we have now of people out on the streets every weekend speaking with their feet. That's what we need to do. Speak with our mouths, speak with our feet. We have to organize, we have to be creative, because at the end of the day, it's not just about us, but it's about our kids and our grandkids. There's a poet in the United States, and she has this line: "We make a living from what we get. We make a life from what we give. What we have done for ourselves dies with us. What we have done for others and for the world is immortal." We have a lot to do. And thank you all for the work that you have done.